Alright, y'all, welcome to the Chris Show this week. If you were on my channel yesterday, I did a live stream when Kobe first passed away, because it was actually very shocking. I didn't feel like it was real. Did a lot of things, but now I've sat back, thought about it for a bit, did quite a bit of crying, did a lot of bit of reflecting. We found out his daughter died, and after a lot of recollection and thoughts, for me, this is the saddest death for anyone that's not a family member of me, of course. Kobe Bryant was someone that I looked up to. I played basketball since age 6. When you have a trash can, you have a paper ball or something, and you yell out, Kobe. We've been doing that since the early 2000s. It's just, Kobe's an icon. Kobe was on the McDonald's commercial. He had his own video game on Nintendo 64 courtside. It's still, even as I'm recording this, it's still baffling to me to think that he's not here, that he's not going to be around another day. Or not even that, his own daughter's not going to be here anymore. And she's only 13. And I don't know if you ever followed her or saw her stuff, but she was definitely going to transcend the WNBA. She would actually potentially was going to give it, some viewerships of people. I'm like, she was dominating the game at age 13. She was on her path to greatness, and she doesn't even get to tell her story. And it just hurts my soul. I just feel bad for the family. I feel bad for everything in general. This is just the most heartbreaking news I've ever had to experience. I'm going to go more into depth, but I also had some other things to touch on this week. So we will be discussing Terry Crews is out here cooning. He is on America's Got Talent. If you guys don't know, Gabrielle Union left late 2019 over some racial, sexist things that was going on in America's Got Talent. Terry Crews, a black man, was also on America's Got Talent, and they spoke to him last week to ask what was going on and if he felt there was a racial divide. I'm going to show you what he had to say. I want to touch up why he went wrong and why Terry Crews is now looking like someone that's only out for himself and for his own interest of money. Also, we're going to be talking about Antonio Brown again. Like I said when I made the video last week, it was escalating to a point where I was fearful of other people's lives, not only him, but around him. Something ended up happening last week. I'm going to end up giving you the information for all of that, but let's just say Antonio Brown was arrested. He had to post bond. It's very messy. This situation is just a downward spiral that just only keeps on going down. And lastly, in my previous 2 videos, I talked about artists like Justin Bieber, Selena Gomez, and they've been desperate to get their streams out and get their numbers up so they can have a #1 song or a #1 album. They were going up against Roddy Ricch. Please excuse me for being antisocial in his song The Box. I want to let you guys know, did Roddy Ricch end up beating him, or did their desperation actually propel them to the top? So be sure to tune into the Chris Show this week. So now I wanted to, that was just, for the intro. I wanted to talk about Kobe. Now I want to give some more deeper in thoughts. Like I said, this is the most tragic death for me of any celebrity. I know when Michael Jackson passed, I was really sad and I was crying as well, but I was born in 1991, so while MJ had a lasting legacy, I didn't grow up and see MJ's legacy like I got to see with Kobe. And I also got to meet Kobe when I was age 6, and he had the afro. I was part of a church, and we got to meet him at this event. Just basically, he's been someone I followed for life. And if you are in the NBA, there used to be Kobe versus Allen Iverson debates. There used to be Kobe versus T-Mac debates. And I was always Team Kobe. I've always loved Kobe. I even remember him on the Destiny's Child song. Even though the rap was not the greatest, I still listened just because it was Kobe. That's just how much I loved him. And that's why this death has just hit me harder than ever. I don't even know if you're seeing my eyes. They could be very red. They're low right now. I've been bawling my eyes out. I'm not even gonna lie to you. It's just like I really lost a family member today, and it hit me hard when we found out that Kobe passed, but when we found out that his daughter passed as well, and then we also found out that there was 9 passengers instead of 5, it just, the story gets worse and worse as it develops. So first of all, prayers go out to Vanessa Bryant. Prayers go out to all the families of the victims lost. There's so many great Kobe memories that we could talk about. He has the 81-point game. He has so many game winners. He has 5 championships. In the comment section, please tell me what's your Kobe's greatest memory. Like I said in my previous stream, I really appreciate Kobe's 12 three-point game against the Seattle Supersonics. It was a work of art. It was back when not everyone took 8 to 10 threes a game. So when Kobe had this one special game, it was just something truly a joy to watch. Either way, if you grew up in the 90s, you either grew to love Kobe, you grew to hate him, but you respected him because he was so good at his craft. So now that I've talked about the Kobe, mourning, and passing on to the victims, now we need to talk about the people that have done wrong in this situation. And the first people that did wrong in this situation, TMZ. They reported that Kobe Bryant passed away before his family could even hear about the news. Imagine if your loved one passed away and you had to hear about it from TMZ. You don't hear from it, you don't get the phone call, you read it on the internet. Do you know how disrespectful and how wrong that is? Please allow those people to have their moment. This is where TMZ is wrong. Yes, it's great to have information, but if you're relaying this information before the family even gets it, that's just wrong. And it's also wrong whoever's giving TMZ that information. It's just both of the processes are nasty. And the other people that I have issue with is the people that are bringing up Kobe's rape issues today. And why? This guy just lost his life. His family just lost their husband, or they just lost their dad. Why are you bringing this up? Why are you? There's a time and place for everything, and why are you doing that now? I've seen quite a few journalists, some from the BuzzFeed, some from other journalists that have been doing that. And I've lost complete respect for any of them. I won't support any of their news feeds or any of their posts going forward. If you see someone that's trying to attack Kobe's character, do us a favor. Do not give them the attention they want, and also do not put money in their wallets going forward. They don't deserve the clicks. They don't deserve the views. Just ignore them. Don't give these people your energy in 2020, because I'm not. And then the last thing I want to say about the situation, people always want to act like if you never met someone when they die, they don't have this lasting impact on you. But if today doesn't show you that that's completely wrong, I don't know what to tell you. When Michael Jackson passed, that had a lasting impact on the world. When Prince died, that had a lasting impact on the world. And when Kobe Bryant has passed away, it's going to leave a lasting effect on the world. And I hope you cherish your loved ones, tell them you love them. If you have beef with someone, try and squash it, because you don't want someone to pass away and you guys are ending up on bad terms. But yeah, as I said, this is the most tragic death, non-family related for me. This is really tough. I'm glad I was able to get this video without completely crying the whole time. So I waited a few hours. And yeah, I'm gonna go on to the rest of my show, but this is a very special circumstances. Like I said, I normally record my shows early Sunday morning and nothing really happens. That's something that happened that's truly breaking news for me to stop everything what I'm doing and remake the video. But Kobe Bryant passing is definitely one of those. Okay, so Gabrielle Union, Dwayne Wade's wife, if you don't know her off the top of her name, she's a very talented actress. She's made it far in life. She was on America's Got Talent. So it was around late December when Gabrielle Union decided to step away from America's Got Talent. She said she was dealing with racism, sexism, just all the things in the boat that someone of her stature or anyone in general should not be dealing with. Keep in mind, while this is an ongoing process of investigation, no one was supposed to comment on it. No one was supposed to even talk about it. That's why it's kind of been kept under the wraps, because Gabrielle Union isn't even supposed to be talking about it. But then we get to this guy, Terry Crews. You know, white chicks, everybody hates Chris, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. This guy, as far as actors, he's up there among the most respected. You know, he's not an A-list celebrity, but he's a good B or C-list celebrity. But either way, Terry Crews is someone that's successful and has done a lot of things in this world. But there's been a lot of people that have been saying Terry Crews only cares about himself, and he's only cares about his own self-interest, which is, making money or his brand. And before I start dissecting and going in on Terry Crews, I'm just going to show you guys what he had to say on the Gabrielle Union situation. So here we go.
Ask you about the Gabrielle Union controversy. Of course, there are reports that her contract wasn't renewed because she reported a toxic atmosphere existed at the show. You're at the show. Is there a toxic atmosphere?
First of all, I can't speak for sexism because I'm not a woman, but I can't speak on behalf of any racism comments. That was never my experience on America's Got Talent. In fact, it was the most diverse place I have ever been in my 20 years of entertainment. The top 10 acts were Asian, women, older, younger, black, white. It was everything in the gamut. Now, I have to say this, too. when you look at what the allegations are about, it was given by an unnamed source. My thing is, you know, it's funny because I believe you should listen to women. You should always believe women. So I asked my wife what I should do. And she was like, first of all, if it's coming from an unnamed source, because Gabrielle Union has not made any statement to this day about any of these allegations publicly. Yeah. So
have you spoken to her?
I have not. I have reached out, but I have not heard anything. And so my thing was, my wife said, well, if she hasn't made a statement, why would you? Yeah. And I said, you know what? I'm going to listen to her.
That's right. Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
We should mention that NBC is still investigating and that they have said that they will put new practices into place if necessary.
So Terry Crews went above and beyond to show that he didn't deal with racism on America's Got Talent. But I don't know if you guys remember during the Me Too movement, when everyone was, you know, coming out with their sexual allegations. Terry Crews came out with his, that he was fondled by a male executive, but he didn't do anything because he didn't want to lose his job or do, you know, fight him or all that. So basically during that Me Too movement, black women were really supporting Terry Crews, and there was a lot of backlash that black men weren't showing the same support for Terry Crews that black women were. But us as black men have known Terry Crews' past and how he really doesn't stand up for black people. He only stands up for himself. So now we fast forward to the present and we see this situation with Gabrielle Union. Terry Crews, you have the perfect situation to stand up for a black woman like they stood up for you when you were going through your stuff. But instead of doing that, you just double down on the cooning and just, hey, everything's great. And you know America's Got Talent was like, damn, we can perfectly talk to Terry Crews for this, because if they talked to Nick Cannon, we know he wouldn't have said that. But they know Terry Crews is someone that's going to pander to whoever to get his money. So Gabrielle Union used Twitter to respond, and instead of me quoting it, I'm just going to read it word for you guys. Can someone please ask about what happens to all that diversity folks are talking about behind the scenes, like legit? Where's all that diversity in the production though, homie? And the decision-making ranks, who control the fate of diversity in front of the camera? Man, we all agreed to let the investigation be completed before speaking, but if we doing this, oh baby, let's go. Let's also talk about where the diversity is in the hair and makeup department for contestants that does not reflect all the diversity that hits the stage. Let's Google up the execs that run the show and ask follow-up about that egregious lack of diversity. Let's discuss the facts. So Gabrielle Union obviously had some things to say, and I agree with her. Terry Crews, you should have just never said anything. You should have just kept your mouth shut and kept it pushing like you normally do. But you wanted to double down on your cooning and say, hey, I don't experience none of this. This is the most diverse cast ever. This is great. Now you're being criticized. People are tired of you. You know, the whole cancel culture, I'm not going to be part of that. You're still probably going to make plenty of money. You're still going to do what you got to do. But your public perception is shot now. Nobody's going to be sticking up for you no more. Everyone understands you're only for yourself. You're not for the people. You're not for black people. You're not for black women. You're not for anyone but yourself. And it's sad because we all know that racism clearly does go on in the industry. Obviously, it's not as concrete as, you know, they hosing them down, but it's very discreet in how they do their races. And they do it in a way so that they can't get in trouble. So even if you didn't feel it, you didn't have to shoot down Gabrielle Union saying that it was an unnamed source and trying to discredit her. You could just say, I never experienced it, but I'm not going to speak for Gabrielle Union or what she went through and let that investigation have. You could have just went about this a complete different way. But instead, now you look like a fool. Now nobody's sticking up for you. So you guys let me know in the comments. After seeing how Terry Crews acted with this Gabrielle Union situation, would you continue to support him going forward? Or are you done supporting his acting or whatever he's involved in going forward? I'd love to hear, because me personally, I'm not a cancel person. I'm not a cancel culture person. If you make something good, I'm gonna watch it. I'm not really a person that what you do as an artist or what you do as a person, they kind of coincide. I can separate the two, but I definitely lost a lot of respect for Terry Crews over this last week, and I definitely won't look at him the same. But I don't cancel people, but I do want to hear if you guys are going to cancel Terry. And also, I'll keep tabs to see when this Gabrielle Union thing does get settled. If it was deemed that there was racism or not, I'll let you guys know. So Antonio Brown, the guy that we just can't stop talking about, And this one is the most unfortunate of them all. So Antonio Brown was involved in an altercation with a truck mover, and this happened on Tuesday. The alleged victim claims that Antonio Brown was under the influence of drugs, and Antonio Brown roughed him up so bad that his shoulder was hurt and his shirt was torn. So the alleged victim called 911. When the time came, Antonio Brown's trainer was arrested, but Antonio Brown wasn't because he locked himself inside of his house and the cops weren't able to get in. So Glenn Holt, Antonio Brown's trainer, was hit with felony, burglary, and assault. So let me read to you what Antonio Brown is going to be charged for. Brown will be facing charges of burglary with battery and burglary of an occupied conveyance, as well as one of the count of criminal mischief. He's expected to be held in custody until he faces a judge at a bond hearing Friday morning. So Antonio Brown had the hearing. His bail was over $110,000. He posted it. He got out. But Antonio Brown getting out just isn't getting out like anyone else. So Antonio Brown is under GPS monitoring. He's being drug tested. He has to submit his firearms and he has to turn in his passports. And he also has to seek counsel. So Antonio Brown is also going to undergo a health mental evaluation, and anything that they tell him from that, he has to follow those orders as well, whether it's counseling or whatever. So Antonio Brown, remember when I was saying I hope he gets the help that he gets? It might have come in an unfortunate circumstance, but this might be what he needs. He has monitoring. He's going to not be on drugs anymore. He's going to hopefully be able to get a mental diagnosis to find out if this is CTE or what's involved, bipolar, schizo, whatever is involved. We all know that Antonio Brown is not fully there with his brain right now. And that's why we all, at some points, we were laughing at some of the antics he was doing and laughing, and it's not funny anymore. This is someone's life. This is someone that was a Hall of Fame wide receiver that's now down to the point that he's being arrested and his whole life is ruined. And I know he wasn't always the best person, but you don't wish this upon anyone. Don't even wish this upon your enemy. When you lose your brain or you lose your health, you're not even the same person that person hated. So let's just hope Antonio Brown can get the help that he can, that it's not life damaging. The CTE can be fixed. I don't know if it can. I don't know if Antonio Brown can be fixed. But I'm just glad he's finally getting help at this point. I'm worried that one day I'm going to be doing a video on Antonio Brown being passed away or him being in prison for the rest of his life. Now, as far as this trial goes, Antonio Brown is potentially facing life of charges. I don't think it's going to get to that point. I think it's going to be knocked down. I see him like serving house arrest or doing some time like that. But I don't really see him going to prison or jail for this sentencing. I think they overcharged him to set an example for Antonio Brown and to get him the help he does, but I don't think he's going to be going to prison for this. What do you guys think? Do you think he's going to be charged for this? Do you think he's actually going to get the help, or is Antonio Brown a lost cause like some of us have been saying? Me personally, like I said, it's not a funny thing to me anymore. I just want this man to get help. I want him to get his life in order because he's in the news literally every week for something, and that's not good. So Selena Gomez and Justin Bieber. If you guys haven't seen my previous videos, Justin Bieber had a song called Yummy. He was begging fans to buy VPNs and stream it overnight so he can get #1 over the box. And then we have Selena Gomez at her album The Rare, and she was going to Target, going to Best Buy, asking fans to stream it overnight or do whatever it takes to get this album #1. The Billboards update typically on Monday and Tuesday. I post my videos Monday mornings, so I usually am reporting on the Billboards for the last week. But now that that week has happened and we can see if Justin Bieber or Selena Gomez did win, I'm going to show you guys. So when it comes to the #1 song, Justin Bieber, Yummy is not it. It never will be it. It's not even top 5 anymore. It's currently #10. The highest it was #2 when you was trying that desperate stuff. But the fact that it went from 2 to 10 shows that you only were up there because your fans were streaming it. It's not because it's a quality song. If it was a quality song, it still would be top 5. But that song only dropped 2 or 3 weeks ago, and you're already creeping to the bottom of the 10. Justin Bieber, like I said, just make good music. Because if you make good music, it will be at the top. You making this Yummy song and it's not good, that's why it's at #10. So that's the good news. Justin Bieber wasn't rewarded for his desperation. But when it comes to #1 albums, Selena Gomez did beat Roddy Ricch. Her Rare album peaked at #1. It was close to Roddy Ricch's Please Don't Excuse Me for Being Antisocial. But the fact that Selena Gomez had to beg her fans' streamer album to pass an album that was already on the charts for 5 weeks goes to show that we all know this isn't really legit. It starts to make me wonder, I'm like, when they do these artist accolades and they talk about the #1 hits or #1 songs, does that really even matter anymore? You've devalued this to the point that all you have to do is ask people to play your music and it's a #1 hit now. That's not cool. When did Michael Jackson ever have to tell someone to play his music? When did Prince ever have to tell someone to play their music? When does Beyonce, even if you want to give a more relevant example, tell people to play their music? If your music is good, people will play it. So after this fiasco, like I said, I never really planned on listening to Selena Gomez, but this just gives me more ammunition to never want to listen to her again. I'm not trying to support artists that put out anything and you guys just put it #1 because they beg you to do it. I want an artist that's gonna go on the grind, craft an album, whether it takes a year, 2 years, or 3, and they come out and they drop pure fire. That's what I want. That's what I like from my artists, not this. I want to make a comeback and I want to be #1. I always wanted to be #1, so please put me Nah, I don't fuck with that shit. So let me know in the comment section. 1, did you listen to Yummy and did you enjoy it? And 2, have you actually listened to Selena Gomez's album, or is this just like everyone else and you're only streaming it because she's a fan? I just want one last thing to say. Just make good music. That's all you have to do. Just make good music. So yeah, this is mainly what I wanted to talk about this week. After the Kobe Bryant news, the news just isn't the same anymore. I haven't eaten that well today. It just hasn't sit right with me. And I was discussing the Terry Crews, the Gabrielle Union, Antonio Brown, and the Billboard situation, but none of that honestly has the same feeling or impact on me before. I still definitely want Antonio Brown to get help, and I want Terry Crews to care about other people. But today, it's about the Black Mamba, and it's about Kobe. If Kobe didn't impact your life, or you were too young to be impacted by Kobe's life, I would suggest start looking up YouTube highlight videos or look up his documentaries. But Kobe's definitely someone that should impact your life, and he should always inspire you to do better because he always worked hard to be better. So as always, I post my shows Monday morning, noon Eastern time. Don't forget to subscribe, turn on the notification bell for all my videos. Like, comment, share this video with your friends if you enjoyed it. This Chris, I'm out this motherfucker.